Hey everybody, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini, and welcome to another live chat here where I'm answering questions and I'm going to be showing you all 5 projects that we're tackling in my new organizer club. So let's take a minute, make sure everyone can see me and hear me. And if you're tuning in, whether on Facebook or on YouTube, just type in the chat, let me know where you're tuning in from so we see who we have joining us. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Glenda. We got Janelle. Janelle says, I'm all signed up and ready to go. Awesome. I can't wait to see your finished makes, Janelle. I'm sure you're picking some really cute fabrics as usual. Margie's in the house from Wisconsin. Hey, Margie. Hi, Kathy. We got Star from South Dakota. Marilyn from Arizona. Hi, Jackie. Hey, Mary. All right. We got Marie in the house. We got Brenda. Okay, good. We got a bunch of y'all on. Hi. Hola, Diana. Okay. And Kay tuning in from Jacksonville. So that's just up the road from us. I'm coming to y'all from my home crafting studio here in North Central Florida, where it just stopped raining a little bit. But we're in full hurricane season here. So rain, rain, and then some more rain. Okay. Great. So y'all can see me and hear me. Thank you, Susie, for letting me know. Michelle says I'm all signed up. Awesome. So I'm going to be going over the projects again. I went ahead and put some different things inside of them just to give y'all a few more ideas of how you can use the organizer projects that we're going to be making in this new organizer club. And I think I'll start off by just a quick overview of what it is and what we're doing. So over the next couple of months, and for those of you that are new to maybe my channel, new to my brand and my business, maybe you don't know about my digital courses and clubs, our online clubs, the way that we're doing this is an organizer club. The way that it works is it's a one-time payment and then we drip out the courses to you for 5 different projects. So you get a course calendar that spans from July to September, and on the calendar you'll be able to see the date and time when each project's video course and all the lessons that accompany it are going to be posted, so you can go one by one. I usually start off with the simplest project first so that we can work our way through the 5 projects, with the last one being, I wouldn't say difficult, but the most challenging typically of the bunch. All these projects are going to be confident, beginner friendly. In other words, if you have a regular sewing machine that can do straight stitch and zigzag stitch, and you know how to thread your machine, and you can sew pretty straight, that's all you're going to need, because aside from that, I'm walking you through every single step with my video lessons. Quick note about the video lessons. Once you sign up for the club, and right now it's at the sale price of $97, regular price, if you were to sign up for each of these classes individually, would be $185, and you're getting a bonus video course, which we'll talk about in a minute. But that's an added $27 value. So this is the lowest price it's ever going to be, at $97. So if you want to sign up, the link is below, and we'll make sure to put the link in the chat box for you, both on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can check it out. You can also just go to our shop on our website, craftygemini.com/shop. Okay, so the 5 projects, what was I saying? The video lessons themselves. Once you pay the $97 and you sign up for it, once all those classes on the scheduled date and time get posted to your course account, they never expire. In other words, you don't need to make it on the same day that I post it, right? You don't have to try and keep track or stay on track as we post each of the different video courses. You can totally watch the lessons on your own time, at your own pace. The video lessons do have closed caption. Okay, and they also have speed control. So for those of you who feel like maybe I talk a little bit fast, you can slow me down and just watch the video at a slower pace. For those of you that are more experienced, I know oftentimes, like you, Heather, if you're watching, usually will speed me up. So you can put me up to 2x speed. Okay, so you can play around with that. And then of course, because the videos never expire, you can always pause, rewind, and rewatch a lesson before you dive into that step and do it yourself at home. Okay, so let's see. Okay, great. Kay says, I'm signed up and I'm anxious to start. Awesome. Carla says, I'm so in. I love Vanessa's clubs. Thank you, Carla. Hey. All right. So let's go over real quick. I talked about the calendar, so you can print the calendar out. Aside from the video lessons or the video courses for each of the 5 organizer projects being posted, I also do live question and answer sessions, which means that you will be able to submit questions. Say you watch the video lessons and you kind of have a couple questions. You can submit those questions for me and I will answer them live in a private live chat that's just for the registered students, okay? And then those, if you can't tune in live, no big deal, because they are recorded and they stay in the course, in the whole club platform for you to access whenever you want. So you could submit a question. Maybe you can't tune in live when I answer it. The next day you can click on it and watch it and hear my answer to your question, and it'll always be there, okay? So none of the stuff expires. You have indefinite access to everything after you sign up for the one club, you know, the one registration fee, okay? You also get a freebie PDF with video tips and links that you can click on. That's included in there. You have the calendar, you have that. You have, what was the other thing I had here? Oh, the bonus class. Can we go up, post the picture of the bonus video course that they get? So this is a $27 value, and this is another project that is kind of on the same theme with the organizer. These are my fabric envelope folders, and you can see them there. Once you register for the new organizer club, this is basically a 6th project that you can make, okay? And that one is going to be posted to your individual courses. So if you log into the organizer club, for those of you that are already in and you don't see it, it's because it's a separate standalone class. So go into my individual courses on your student account and just look for the fabric envelope folder. You remember that all the classes and clubs you sign up for are always in alphabetical order for those of you that have dozens and dozens of my classes, okay? Jackie says, looks like you have a new t-shirt. How about showing it off? So this is a new t-shirt, but I don't have it for sale in my shop. It just says cranking socks is my superpower. I wore it to my sock cranking retreats. I usually try and wear them to it. It might be something that I add into the shop once we can get a couple different shirts and things like that. This is just on a V-neck tee, and I put the transfer on it. Cranking socks is my superpower. And you can see that the bottom half here kind of looks like the cylinder that we use on the sock cranking machine. So yes, Jackie, good eye. All right, so you're getting 5. Oh, Jackie says she already made 2, and that she's talking about the fabric envelope folders. She already made 2 of them. So when you sign up, although the first project that we're going to tackle, and we're going to go ahead and switch over to the over-the-shoulder camera shot if we can, so that I can start talking about the projects themselves. So the first project is let me move this here. My easy storage pod that you see here. I'm going to show you a couple that I'm using inside the Tidy Tote real quick. But these projects, the 5 that are part of the organizer club, don't start until Friday, okay? And that's because we opened up the registration last Wednesday and we're closing it this Wednesday. That's why I'm going live to answer some of y'all's questions, those of you that maybe are on the fence, so you can see all the projects, get some ideas, and see if you want to sign up for this club, okay? But this Wednesday night, that's July 24th, 2024, at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, we're shutting the registration. That means that the next day after that, you won't be able to sign up. We will reopen the club, but it won't be until October. And when we do open it up, that means it's going to be after we've done everything, all our live question and answer sessions. Everybody that's signing up right now is going to have me live answering questions, and we're going to be going through the projects in real time, okay, all the way through the end of September. So when we open up the club again in October, it's going to be $185 for anybody who wants to join. So again, it's $97 right now, plus you get the bonus course. In October, when we open it, it's going to be $185, and you don't get the bonus course of the fabric envelope folder. Okay, so this is really the time to get it, the best value and the best time, because you're going to have me live answering questions as we go through each project. So first one is the Easy Storage Pod. Here you can see I have a bunch of my plastic clips that I got from GE Designs. In the Tidy Tote, this is the second project, okay, but you can see they work really well together. I have a couple more of them in here. Look at the bigger one. We're going to be making the storage pods in 2 sizes. Do you see how this is? This has a bunch of alcohol markers and then some skinnier markers, some different types of markers, but look at how it stands up. And y'all know, I showed it last week. I don't have any empty ones right here because I have another one that I'm using for puppy training treats, the one with the loop. But you can see they stand up by themselves whether they're empty or they have stuff in it. So if I'm going to a friend's house for a card making like craft night, I can take my Tidy Tote, put the markers that I need, the specific colors, color pencils. I can put stuff like this. Here I have a bunch of the little teardrop stamp pads, some glue, some alcohol to clean off my stamps, and a big stamp pad that I got with Intense Black ink from Simon Says Stamp. I can fit all this stuff in here. On the other side, because notice the Tidy Tote, this is our second project that we're going to be tackling, okay? And this one has 2 compartments with a sturdy partition right here. On this side, for those of you that are card makers, I have a couple card bases, some of the panels that I may want to stamp on and put on the front, a whole little kit for watercolor. My Misty, I can't live without this thing. This is my stamping platform. Some stamps, a stencil, right? Some stamps, like if I'm going for a craft night or a class or something, then I just take kind of what I need and I can take it in the little Tidy Tote. I have little scissors in here and some of that foam tape. So you can fit a bunch of stuff in here. And I was just showing y'all, like for card making, I could use it for that. You could also use it for your knitting projects, your crochet projects. If you move from room to room in your house and you work on hand sewing or hand binding something, you can put it here and take it with you. Then also we talked about last week how we could use this in a bathroom to put toilet paper and some washcloths and things, or for a guest in a guest room. I just feel like organizers, you can use them pretty much anywhere, right? And what better way to make one than to make it super cute with cute fabric, right? We all have fabric. Here we're using a stabilizer that's a fusible one. And I wanted to just real quick give a shout out to Susan, because Susan emailed me and asked, hey, Vanessa, I was wondering if that center partition on the tidy tote, is it sewn only on the sides or is it also sewn at the bottom? So Susan, if you're watching, I know I replied to your email, but I did want to visually show you. It's sewn in both or all three spots. Across the bottom, it's sewn into the lining there, and then along the sides. That way you don't have to worry about anything from one compartment sliding under to the other side. You can actually keep them separate. So I know she wanted to know that, but I replied to your email, and there you can visually see, in case anybody else was wondering, it is sewn all the way in, so you have two true compartments in this tidy tote. Hi, April. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so let's put this stuff back in, and you can see, I mean, it's kind of small, but it still fits a bunch of stuff in here. And these little storage pods are going to be perfect, because if you are going to make like back to school teacher gifts, these would be great. Send them in with, some different packs of markers or colored pencils or whatever. They set them out for crafts. They can leave it like that. Make sure you return them. I mean, you can use these things to organize all kinds of stuff, no matter the room or the space, the office, it don't matter. Classrooms, all that, okay? So that's the second. So that's one is the little storage pods, and we're making them in two sizes, in case I forgot to mention that. This guy is the little one, and then this one is the bigger one, okay? But I love that they're just fabric. You don't have to have like a false bottom. What am I doing? Sewing clips don't go there. You don't have to have anything super stiff. It's based on the proportions that I came up with on how to make, height versus the width, that they can stand up both empty and with stuff inside. And for those that maybe didn't catch me last week, I just want to show you how they do stand up when they're empty, okay? How cute is that? Look at that. And it's not heavy. I mean, you could potentially, if you made a bunch and you didn't need them for certain times, you could just flatten them out and store them away. But when you need them, they do stand up empty or not. So this is going to be the first project. Pretty simple. I feel like y'all are going to be making dozens of these. Okay, I know that I am. We talked about that last week, how I need to make 12 of them to fit in one of my containers so I can clean up this table here with all my little sewing notions and stuff. Hi, Zena. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hi, Linda. All right. Yes, Windless Original says, I'm glad she asked. Yeah, when I got that email, I was like, ooh, I'm going to say that tonight on the live, because I know maybe some other people are wondering about that. Okay, so project 1, storage pods. Project 2, the tidy tote with that partition inside. And I know y'all saw that lining, right? We talked about this last week, but look how good my lining sits in there. So I'm going to share all my tips and tricks so you too can make projects like these that have nice, well-fitting linings on the inside, okay? Real quick again, we're talking about my new organizer club, where I'm walking you through step by step how to make 5 different organizer clubs over the next 2 months. The sale price is $97 right now. We're closing the doors on Wednesday, so you just have 2 more days to decide whether or not you want to join us for some fun, okay? We're moving on to project number 3, which is my zip and slip organizer. Here it is. I gave the dimensions last time, but I'll give them again. This one measures about 10 inches, or just kidding, 9¼ by 12 by about a quarter, okay? Quarter inch. It's not very thick. It's not very bulky. It's designed to put flat stuff inside. So the zip and slip is a zippered pocket on the front. You can see I have a notebook in here. All right, and then on the back is a slip pocket. So you can decide what you're going to put in here. I know last week I was giving y'all some ideas about, say, putting in your PDF patterns, maybe some instructions for something that you're working on, whether it be cross stitch or embroidery. If it's something flat like that, you can even fold up the fabric in here, or with the embroidery hoop, just slide it in here so it stays nice and flat and contained. Then you could slide the pattern in on the back, just something simple like that. But I also designed it with a little handle so that we can put it in a larger bin in one of these cubbies. If you have those IKEA organizer wall unit things like I do, all over here. You know what I'm talking about. So I can put it in there and then pull it out and see through the clear vinyl pocket what it is and then pull out the one that I need. But this also would make a great gift for a teacher, a student, and to help you organize your documents, okay? Monique says the second one would make a nice caddy for those moving into dorm rooms. It would. That's the tidy tote. This would be a great one to give to a new college student. That would be awesome. Elise says, I'm in. Awesome. All right, great. Windless Original says, looks great for my Cricut supplies. Absolutely. That tidy tote would definitely be good for that too. Diana says, hey, Vanessa, I'm signed up too. Awesome, girl. I can't wait to see what you're going to make, all your finished makes. So this is a little notebook that I put in here. I know we talked about this last time so y'all can see how it goes in here, and then you just have to drape over the top. But you do still have some space up here, and I mentioned last time that this is designed to fit 8.5 by 11 sheets and A4 for those of you that are not in the US and use A4, okay? April says, I'm in there like swimwear. Vanessa, awesome. Can't wait to start. Well, great. I can't wait to see your finished makes too, girl. Okay, good. So this is the third one. This is the zip and slip organizer. Okay, let's move on to the fourth one. And I went ahead and filled this one up with some stuff to give you a visual idea, because last time we showed it just empty, okay? And we were talking about how it's mostly designed for you to put flat stuff in there. So do y'all recall this? We went ahead and added a cam snap to the handles, and I think somebody last week said, that is genius. I would have never thought to do that. Well, the reason I designed it like that is because if you put stuff in these, and there's a bunch of pockets, there's 6 of them. If you put stuff in here, there's no way that you're gonna be able to, like, say, have snaps here and here. So this is part of designing stuff for people to make. Do you see how that works? If I had snaps or anything like that, I mean, the whole design would be out the window, because you would be making a whole project to only have like 2 pockets in order for it to fit. So instead, I wanted to just be able to keep like items together in a smaller bundle and then just close it up but leave it with plenty of space. So do you see how that works? For me, everything I store here is in bins. So if I want to have just like stuff together in one compartmentalized chunk here, okay, I can throw this in a cubby and I know, hey, when I grab this, this is knitting needles or whatever. So let me show y'all what I did. Here, of course, you can cut out with your Cricut, iron on vinyl, all that kind of stuff, and label it with what you're going to have in it. For me, I've realized as I've been organizing more and more this year, it's like I just need the stuff away, but still where I can take it out. So instead of having a label for every single little thing, I do better when I have a bunch of stuff together, but even though it's like items. In other words, when I open this up, I'm probably going to pull everything out and sort it out into the project bag that I need or what I'm going to use it for. So I don't really care too much about having like a label per each thing. I'm not going to waste all these pockets and put like one item per pocket. Does that make sense? So I have knitting supplies in here. So let's break it down. Here is a couple of different, they're like little things that came with knitting needles in them. Like they already come organized in this thing by size and all that. And so it just folds up, right? So it's a magnet. And that just came like that. Then it came with the little pouch for all the different little stitch markers, notions, and needle gauge and all that. So that goes together, okay? So I'm just putting them in here with the rest of my stuff. Okay, and that's not really flat. I mean, it's kind of chunky, so you can see how it ends up taking a bunch of space. For those of you that are knitters, and maybe you're going to use yours like this, I wanted to show you that the CHAOGU needle packs, like these organized zipper thingies, they're kind of annoying to open. But anyway, they're at least organized, and you can have them labeled, you know, these are the shorter ones, by the size and put them in here. But I did want to show you that if you did want to keep it all together, these packets do fit inside of these pockets. So if I just want to have it all together, I can slip it in there and boom, keep it going. The next one here, for all those circular needles that are not interchangeable, meaning I cannot take off the cords, you can sort them by size, by length of the cord, and just roll them up and stuff them in there. This is a mess to have anywhere else. I put them in a box, in a bin, in zippered pouches with the zippers. Sometimes they all get tangled up. But here, if I roll them in the round and I just throw them in here, that's it. They're out of sight, but I know they're in here. Done, right? The next one, what do I have in here? A bunch of my knit picks interchangeable cables. I can obviously take them out of here if I wanted to, but these are just packs that I bought on a sale or something. And they're all labeled already on the outside of the package. Look how many I can fit in there. Done. Next one. I don't think I have anything in here. Oh, I do. I have two of my little teensy zippered pouches with a bunch of different notions and measuring tapes and stuff. So all the different, the components of that craft or what I need to have organized. And then this one's empty, okay? So you can see that even if you're not putting in super flat items, as long as they're not super chunky, it's not going to take up all your space. But that way I can boom, boom, snap it shut. All this stuff is thrown in a cubby and I know that's knitting stuff out of my way. Right? So that's what I wanted to show y'all, that you could still fit stuff in here, but still be able to keep it somewhat contained, right? By having that snap in the handle. So I'm quite happy with this one, and I think it's going to be a fun one to make. So this is project number 4, the 6-zip fold-up organizer. Okay? So that's that one. Let me see, make sure I'm not missing anything here. Hi, Laura. She says, I'm late to this party, but I can't wait to start making these bags. Awesome. I know you're going to pick some super cute fabrics too. All right. Diana's asking, are the pockets big enough for documents? If you folded them up, they could fit in here. Let's see. Like if you had a pattern or something and you were going to, fold it up. Instructions, maybe with some little templates and rulers and things. You can just slide it in there, okay? So hopefully that answers your question, Diana. All right. Monique says, awesome idea for the circulars. You could place stitch markers in there as well. What a fabulous group of organizing patterns. Yes. You can put all those little thingies, a little gauge needle, little those little gauge tools that you have, the little rulers, what else? Like cable needles, all that kind of small stuff that often gets lost everywhere. You basically have 6 zippered pouches that are contained so you can put like items in there, okay? Let's see what else. That's number 4. And so the last one is probably most of y'all's favorite. I know it's definitely one of my favorites. And this one is my clear view roll-up organizer. Cute, cute, cute. Somebody asked me last week the fabric on this. This is from my friend Sarah Watts's Florida collection. It's a couple years old now, at least, I think. But it's from her collection called Florida. Okay? If y'all want to check it out for Ruby Star Society. Okay. The exterior is quilted. It rolls up. And here's the clear view part. We have 3 different size clear vinyl pockets. We use craft zippers, and then we're using fold over elastic the same way that we use the fold over elastic to bind the edge of our little storage pods here. This is fast work. By the time you make a bunch of those storage pods, since this is project number 1, the video course for this, for those of you that are already signed up, that video course and the lessons for this one will be posted to your student accounts on Friday, this Friday. Okay, so that's the first one you're going to start off with. By the time you practice this and do a couple of these with the fold over elastic, and you get to the 5th project, once we work our way through the other 4, when you go to make this one, I think it's going to be easy work for you to go ahead and bind the Clearview roll-up organizer with the fold-over elastic. And I mentioned last week, it only took me 6 minutes to bind this whole thing, okay? Which means that if you can bind it in 30 minutes, that's still going to be way quicker time than making bias tape from the fabric that you want to use that matches, okay? Just pick a color of the fold-over elastic that goes well with the fabrics you've chosen. And then, cutting them in bias strips, connecting them all, folding them, sewing them to one side, flipping it over, sewing it to the other, whether by hand or by machine. We whip this up super quick. By the time we add the pockets, it's all done, okay? We go ahead and bind it, and it's out the door. So you can use this for toiletries. You can see I have a bunch of my sewing notions in here. It packs a bunch into kind of a small footprint. And then it folds up from the bottom to the middle and then this way. And then again, we use the same fold over elastic to give us our closure. Now, I talked about this last week of making it with, for like toiletries or travel pack. Look at that. And there's so much in here. Another thing you can do is if you want to hang it on, the backside of a hotel bathroom door or something like that, the closure itself can be used to hang. So you can just loop this over. And I designed it like that so that if it is hanging from the top, you still have the zippers oriented correctly. Okay? In other words, when I made the prototype, it was like this. And I thought, oh yeah, that's not going to work. Let's go ahead and reorient the dimensions and change the pocket so that we can have it at the top. So if you did want to hang it this way, you could, and everything won't fall out, and you can orient it correctly so you can open and use your zip pockets, okay? So these are all the things that I mess up on as I'm designing so that I'm like, oh, it would be smart if I did this. Let's do it. And then I do it for you. All for you. All right. Elise says, I was wondering why I bought fold over elastic. I'm so glad to use my stash. There you go. And this is one of those things that once you use it to make these projects, at least the fold over elastic, when you make the first and the fifth project with it, I think you're going to start finding more and more places where you can use it. Especially when you get to this binding, you're going to be like, baby quilt? Yeah, maybe we'll just bind it with some fold over elastic and a zigzag stitch. You could do a lot with that, okay? Let's see. Winless Original says, I think that pouch would be great for organizing all the different types of thread I have. I'm so excited for this club. Well, I'm excited that you're excited. This could be super cute. You can see I have some thread in here. I even started to organize some of my fold over elastic bundles right here, pins, notions. This is a great little organizer if you're going to a class, a retreat, you're going somewhere. You know, you just take your must-have supplies, boom, boom, it's in one pack and you're done, okay? You could even do what I often do with some of my little organizers, and I might end up doing something with this one if I make some more, is keeping a secondary batch of all those types of notions and always just have it packed away here so that when I do go to a class or a retreat or something, I know I can just grab the whole thing. I'll give it a quick glance and be like, yep, I needed all that stuff, and then it's good to go, boom. And I'm only saying that because I know a lot of you have doubles and triples of everything in your sewing stuff. So if you don't want to have it all out, say you have 2 Choco liners or something, you know, put one in your class pack or your retreat pack that you can just take when you go on trips, okay? Let's see. Diana says, what do you do with all your prototypes? Well, it depends. If they're usable, I still use them. I just won't be, you know, promoting them and showing them because they don't match what the course is. I usually will give my daughter first dibs. Hey, you want the zippered pouch? It's a little bit too short or too wide or whatever it is, you know, like as I'm working out the dimensions. And we end up using them here, you know. Sometimes I'll use it when I go teach, if I'm teaching kids or I'm teaching seniors or whatever. Most of the times, if it's a pouch or an organizer, like you can still use it. It might not be the final design that I wanted, but I can still use it. So I'll give you an example. Here's one that's good enough to show. This is the zip and slip organizer on like its second iteration before I decided to lengthen it here. So do you see how this is shorter? Okay. So the zipper was closer to the top, so I could fit school sheets of paper in there, but not full 8.5 by 11 ones. So because of the interfacing that I use and how large my seam allowances were as I was working out all the math, I ended up eating up too much of the fabric so that when it finished, it ate more along this dimension that it did here. It just, you know, designing stuff. But you can see, so this one is just shorter. I can't use 8.5 by 11 stuff in here, but I could still use it for other things, right? Same. Slip pocket, and this one is just shorter. Okay, but I like to see it come together when I'm designing stuff. I need to see it in real time, in real fabric, in real zippers. So I see like, how is it going to look? That's the cute part for me that I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, if I just adjust this, then it will look exactly how I want it to look, right? All right. Let's see. Zena's asking, can you use faux leather for any of the projects? So we'll have to go probably one by one and figure out what we can do with the faux leather. Like, you know, I have to stop and like analyze it. I probably would not use faux leather for something like this just because it comes together in the round, and you know, any fabric that's like faux leather, it's not really just going to sit in that shape. It's going to be a little bit stiffer when you have this area that's a little bit more squared off 90-degree angle here. So I wouldn't use it for that. The faux leather, maybe for the front pocket. The thing with faux leather is that you need to come up with ways on how to finish the edge if you want to have finished edges, right? It has body, and I'll grab a sheet here. It has body, it has structure. So sometimes people are like, oh great, I'm gonna use faux leather so I don't have to use interfacing. Yeah, well, you have to figure out what are you gonna do with those edges. You know, if you don't like to just show raw edge, like I could easily make a pocket. It's not gonna reach on this sheet, but you could make a pocket, okay, across like this. And if you're fine having the top edge of that pocket being just the raw edge of the faux leather, then you're good to go. But where people get into things, it's like, yeah, I wanted to use faux leather, but I don't like the way that that looks. Well, then you're going to need to either tuck it under, because if you're not using interfacing or lining, right, you're going to have to tuck it under, clip it, top stitch it across just so you have that folded edge, okay? Or, I was just going to say something else. Or bind it. Or you're going to have to cut out binding strips and then stitch it to here. So oftentimes we think we're going to save ourselves some steps because we're using a fabric that already has body. It's going to give our project shape and it doesn't fray. But then if you're not happy with the way that the raw edge looks, then you have to do extra steps to get it to look how you want to. So it just depends on, what your personal preference is, okay? All right. Yeah, for the handles, for sure. That's a great suggestion, JC. Oh, yeah. El Hogue says, and I think it's Eileen, and she's saying for storing power cords, computer cords when traveling, all of that stuff on this one would be great for the Clearview roll-up. Definitely. Jackie's asking, how about lightweight upholstery fabric? I think lightweight upholstery fabric can definitely be used for most everything here, especially, depending on how lightweight it is. You might want to add something like a fashion fuse or some type of cotton woven fusible interfacing if it's like a little bit too lightweight and you just want to add a little bit more structure to it. But you probably won't need any of the heavy duty interfacings, like a super double-sided fusible fleece or something, if it's already a fabric like lightweight upholstery that has some good body to it. The faux leather, let me think what else. I would not do faux leather on this one just because it's going to be super bulky. Because the fabric is thicker, you're going to end up with bulkier seams here. Now, one of the things I was going to mention here is I think somebody asked me last time, are these pockets lined? So technically they're lined with just plain white cotton, but they're not fully finished. In other words, I didn't design them to be fabric on the outside and fabric on the inside lined because that would bulk up my seams too much. And since, oh my goodness, get in there. And since the whole organizer is based off of me having 6 pockets in here, I need to keep it as streamlined as possible, as thin as possible for the pockets themselves, right? Because I want the bulk to come from what I'm stuffing inside of these things. So that's why we did them like that, okay? If you're familiar with my Wash Me, Wear Me pouch, this is similar to that in terms of you just have fabric that's been fused to the fashion fuse, the cotton woven fusible interfacing. It's just white. If you wanted not to have white so that it looks kind of like it's the wrong side or whatever, you could use this, or you can buy cotton woven fusible interfacing in black as well. They sell black. I'm not sure if they sell any other color, but I know Bozel has it in white and in black. But I like to have light colors inside zippered pockets because if stuff falls down to the bottom, if you're throwing little things in there, you're never going to see it. If it's black lining, forget it. You won't see it. But yes, so the edges are not finished, but that's how I wanted it to be, to minimize the layers, okay, of the pockets. So we're using it for the functionality of the pockets themselves to keep things together, but still sorted and separate. So I hope that makes sense. Susan says, so there's no lining in those pockets. No, there's no like separate lining piece. This is the inside of the cotton interfacing, okay? So that's how we're keeping those. Otherwise, there's no way. You'd have to make the pockets totally different, because also the edge here, if y'all have made zippered pouches, you know that you end up with those like slanted off edges and corners here when you're trying to make a zippered pouch. It would be super, super bulky, super thick in here, and it just wouldn't, it would not be the purpose of why I designed this one to be, okay? Let's see. JC's asking, would the screen of a tablet work in the vinyl slip project pocket? Would the screen of a tablet work? Let's see. This thing has a massive case, so it's probably not even going to fit. Maybe it will. Who knows? Okay, this has a super... Okay, can I scroll? Look at that! I can. So yes, the answer to your question, JC, is yes. And I don't know that all vinyls will work the same, but this is the By Annie's vinyl. We just ordered some more in stock, so as soon as we get them in stock, I will... Look at that. It works. You'd probably want to make it bigger so that you could see the full screen in there. I mean, unless it was a tablet by itself. I think if it's a tablet by itself, it probably will fit. Depends on the dimensions. But yes, there you go. That's why I love doing these lives. I try to answer the questions live and in person. I'm like, I have a tablet here. Let's see. Oh, Linda says, I used the Wash Me, Wear Me this weekend at the beach. That's awesome. If y'all don't know what we're talking about, you can do a search on craftygemini.com. Just type in the search bar, Wash Me, Wear Me, and you'll see it pop up. Okay, so there you go. Great. All right, so that was that. We went through all 5 of them, okay? So again, you get the club calendar. You can check it out to see if you want to tune in and catch the live question and answer sessions. I'll be answering questions live for each one of the 5 projects. Remember that you get an extra bonus video course if you sign up this week. Remember, you only have 2 more days to sign up, and then we close the registration. You want to show them the bonus project that they get. This one is already available. So once you register for the Organizer Club, it's automatically added to your individual courses section of our site, and that is my fabric envelope folder. So another organizer to help you keep your documents organized. It makes a cute gift too. You can give these to teachers so they can sort their stuff out. Really pretty, and it's good to use up fabric scraps. It doesn't take that much materials in it either. Okay? All right. So you got the club calendar. You got a PDF that includes some free video tips. What else is my other thing? You get the bonus video course, and then you get the video courses and PDF instructions for each of the 5 projects. So remember, when the video course for each one goes up, as listed on the scheduled date and time that we put in the calendar, you get to download your PDF instructions and watch the video lessons. Okay? And then you have any questions, you submit them to me, and on the scheduled live for that project, I answer the questions. Everything is recorded. Everything can be watched on replay. You can watch on your own time, at your own pace. Closed captions included, and you can speed me up or slow me down. Okay? Let's see. Louise is asking, how much fold over elastic do I need? Please think. I think I'll have to order online. That's right, because oh, how much? So on the master list, so I would order at least a couple yards for this one. I would say 3 yards to be safe, in case you make any messed up cuts. So I would say 2.5 yards would be safe for this guy. And then depending on how many of these guys you're going to do, you can get a couple yards and you'll be able to do a few different ones. Okay? So if you have, if you get like a bundle, I think I linked to a bundle on Amazon, but I know you're not in the US. But for those of you that in the master supply list, that's what I also forgot to mention. You get a master supply list, master supply checklist. Let me see, did I put it in here? No, I think I moved these documents. I don't have the sheet right here. Anyways, there's a master checklist of supplies. Still don't see it. That you can check off, okay? And it's included in the description page for signing up for the Organizer Club, and then it's also linked inside of the club. So once you register, you can go there, download the PDF of the master supply list, and check off what you need. And in there, where I say fold over elastic, I tell you exactly which one to get. Make sure, Louise, that you do not get 5/8 inch wide fold over elastic. That ain't it, okay? You need 3/4 inch at least. And I'll show you. This is 5/8 inch wide elastic, and this ain't. That extra little bit of width is going to save you when it comes to binding, okay? This guy is a little wider, and it doesn't look like that much, but trust me, you're not going to be saying nice things to me if you try to bind this quilted with foam edge with 5/8 of an inch. So if you have 5/8 of an inch elastic and you thought you'd be able to use it, it's going to be rough, okay? You need 3/4 inch wide at least, if not a 1 inch wide, you know? You'll just have more of it showing, but that will work too. Did you put the list in the pouch? No, I don't think I did. I had folded up the fabric folders PDF in here is what I did. But thank you. Good eye. It wasn't this one. No, this is, oh, you know what? It's stapled to the back of it. That's what it is. There it is. So the master supply checklist here that you can download and check it off, okay? Check off your supplies to make sure. Susan is asking, how big is Bayani elastic? I'm pretty sure the Bayani's is the 3/4 inch wide. So that will work. And I think she sells it in 2-yard bundles too. So yeah, just double check. Make sure it's 20 millimeters it should be. If it's in metric, it should be 20 millimeters, or 3/4 of an inch is the one that y'all are looking for that. Okay. Oh, Tamara, thank you. She says, there are no clubs that are this organized. Have and love all of them. And you make super cute stuff too, Tamara. We definitely appreciate your support over all these years, over a decade. Thank you. Liz says, is there an outside closure for the organizer? Which one? This was the last one I was talking about. This one has a closure like this of the fold over elastic. Okay. And the closure here, the loop, can be made a little bit shorter or bigger depending on kind of what you think you're going to stuff in here. But the length that I put in the PDF instructions seems to work good even with the amount of stuff I fit in here. For this one, if you're asking, we talked about this when I first opened it up. I have a snap closure on the webbing handles to help keep it all together. So that way you're not limited to super flat things. You can still kind of pack it full. And then I'll dump this in a bin over there to keep it all organized. Okay, so that's the closure for that. Okay. Oh, good. Susie says she's looking on Amazon right now. By Annie's elastic is 3/4 of an inch wide. So perfect. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, good. There you go, Louise. Yeah, she says she missed the master supply list. You can check it out. Just an overview. Yeah. So check that out there so you can see what all you already have. You know, definitely shop your stash first, everybody. And then see what you need. Oh, Elise says she's going to make the bonus project right after she finishes her 3rd Bobby t-shirt. Awesome. Great. Let's see what else. What kind, Susan is asking which kind of stabilizer for number 2. So this number 2 can be made depending on how strong your sewing machine is. I used a double-sided fusible. I used, I think, a Bosal Duet Fuse for this one. But I have 2 other prototypes that I made. The light, Bosal light fusible batting is a little bit too flimsy for this, okay? You could always use 2 layers of it. Say you had like a stash of it at home. You could do 2 layers of that. If you found a light fusible fleece that's lightweight, you could do 2 layers of that. If you did like a thermal lamb fleece, you could do just 1 layer of that. If you did quilt batting, medium weight quilt batting, you could quilt it to give it a little bit more added bulk. You could even do foam. Okay, like the Bosal inner form, you could do that with it too. Okay, the only thing is that I would not do foam for the center partition. I would still use something like a batting or a fusible fleece for this center partition because the foam is a little bit bulky. Plus, that's why I was saying it depends on what your sewing machine can handle, because the more places where we have seam intersections that are quite bulky, especially if you make it out of foam, the trickier it's going to be for your machine to easily stitch over it. Now, if you're using like a Juki 2010Q, or an industrial machine, so either semi-industrial or industrial, or a sewing machine that can handle a lot of bulk, you won't really have any issues, okay? Let's see. Padme1413 says, what about the book you have your crochet needles in? Is it also part of the bundle? No. I don't know what book. I think maybe the Chiagu needles or something. No, that's those packets like that. They come with the needle. Like when you order the needles, it comes like that. So we're not making that. You know, we're making just these. Whoops, the organizers that I'm showing here. It's this guy. Maybe if you're asking about this we're not making the separate organizer. I have one similar to that, but not specifically for needles like that. That's kind of like my zip away organizer, huh? It's kind of like that with the zipper that goes around it. Yes, Tamara says, is the fold-over elastic you have with your affiliate link on the master supply list the right size? It is. I linked exactly to the same one that I have and use. So yes, Tamara, thanks for asking. Okay. Padme is asking, if you use foam, do you add more to the seam allowance? So it depends. It depends on the project. The bulkier, this is just across the board, the bulkier the stabilizer or interfacing that you're using in between fabric layers, the more it's going to eat from your seam allowance. Okay? So it just is going to depend on the project. All right. Okay. All right, so that's that. Thank you, everybody, for the great questions. I just wanted to come on here, go over all the different 5 projects again, talk a little bit about the club, just explain things and show y'all visually, give you some ideas for things that you can use to, you know, to put in your new organizers for those of you that are joining the club, what you're going to be making over the next 2 months. Then, as I mentioned before, we're slowing things down a little bit. Usually I do a club, we'll do 5 projects like this, and we get through it in like 5 to 6 weeks. So we're stretching it out a little, so we'll go all the way through the end of September. For those of you that kind of feel like you want to keep up, you don't have to, remember, and nothing expires. You can watch the videos whenever you want. But if you want to have some time to like watch the videos while they get, you know, when they get posted in real time, ask questions, check out the live Q&As and all that stuff, then you'll have time to work through the projects on a week-by-week basis. You basically are ending up with about 2 weeks-ish per project, okay, to make them, just about. So you can take your time. Don't feel like you have to rush out and get fabric and get supplies because you're not going to have it to make it. You can take your time, okay? There's no rush. All right. Okay, Lilia's asking at what time or day will the classes be at this time? So the classes are not live like this. That would be so boring and they'd be hours and hours long. The classes themselves are all edited, high definition video lessons that never expire. So you can watch them whenever you have time to watch them. You don't have to fit the club into your schedule, like if you work nights or you work days or you're overseas in a different time zone. When I send out the email to all registered students and say, hey, video course number 1 for the storage pods has been posted. That just means you can log in and you can start watching those videos whenever you want. So you don't have to be live. The live component of the club is for the live question and answer sessions. And those are all going to be their different days, but they are at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, which is 8 p.m. for me. I live in Florida. That way, they're a little later for us on the East Coast, but that way it puts it at 5 o'clock for people that are on the West Coast. I know it makes it the middle of the night for those of you in Europe and the UK. But again, they don't expire. You know what I mean? So you can watch the replay the next morning when you wake up or whenever you have time. Okay. All right. So hopefully that clarifies that you don't have to, some people are like, oh, I don't think I can make it. But there's nothing to actually make in time. You watch the lessons when you want to. Once you get that email that says the videos are posted, then you make the time whenever you want to and then watch them. Mystery Pert is asking what gauge of vinyl to use. So I like to use the Biannies, and I can't remember what it is. Is it like a 16? 12. I don't know, but I've worked with 10, 12, 14, 16. I don't recommend going thinner than an 8 gauge. It's too fluid. Anything that you put in here, maybe like scissors and stuff, it'll poke right through it. A 10 gauge would be like the minimum, like the lowest I would go in terms of the thickness. Um, but stick to a little bit sturdier, like 12, 14, 16, I think would work good. Okay. Let's see. Mary's saying that the Amazon site for the fold over elastic is 3/8. I've never seen 3/8 fold over elastic, not 3/4. You definitely want 3/4. So if it's sending you to something with 3/8, don't get it because you need 3/4. 20 millimeters or 3/4 inch wide fold over elastic is what we'll be using, both to bind this and to bind the Clearview roll-up organizer, which is project number 5 in the club. Okay? So I'll double check that. Maybe it's switched it for whoever. Oh, the one that you're sending them to. Maybe that's the link you sent. Oh, that's the one that popped up. Sometimes when you scroll down to the bottom, it'll have like the different sizes. Just make sure before y'all check out of anything, it needs to be 3/4 inch or 20 millimeters. Okay? And I'll change it. I'll fix it if it's the wrong one in the thing. Okay. All right. Yeah, so any of those will work. 12 gauge or 16 gauge would work fine. Obviously, the thicker it is, the stiffer it's going to be, and the trickier it might be for you to flip this project right side out. So just keep that in mind. If it's too stiff for you, you can kind of make it a little bit more pliable, hitting it with a hair dryer just to make it a little bit softer when we go to turn it out. But we'll share all those types of tips in the video lessons, okay? So hope that you check out the Organizer Club. If you want to sign up, head on over to craftygemini.com/shop. The link is also in the caption and in the video description box. And remember that you only got 2 more days before we close the doors and shut the registration down for the new Organizer Club. This is our 2nd edition Organizer Club and about the 13th or 14th club that I've done over the past decade. So hope that you tune in, especially if you're new around here. It's a lot of fun. And if you're on Facebook, you can join our optional Facebook group where everybody posts their pictures, fabric choices, and we ask questions and give each other inspiration and ideas as we make the projects. All right? So hope that y'all get a chance to join. I'm glad that you're excited to get started, Susie. I am too, and I will see y'all on Wednesday for Whip Wednesday. So thanks again, everybody, for your great questions and for tuning in, and I will see y'all in the next one.